we are starting. I recognize a lot of your faces, so thank you very much for coming. That's so fun. Okay, so some background on the show. The process for making it began 2 months ago, so it is pretty dang impressive, just saying. And it started about when all of the protests were happening as a response of like, what can we do in like a smaller town like Owosso that's doing our job, like in this fight against racism. So weirdly, our response was to make a puppet show about it. So I hope you all enjoy. We laughed a lot. It began with a group of 4 writers that we all put in scenes after we picked what topics we wanted to write about. So each scene is a different topic of like racist oppression. After those scenes were created, we sent them to a board of Black theater creators in Philly who reviewed our work and gave us feedback. Because we want to acknowledge that we are a group of white people talking about something that we don't know about firsthand, which is what it's actually like to be Black in America. So this is our greatest attempt at that. All of the money for this venue and for those editors that we paid was done completely over fundraising, which was so exciting and amazing and made all of this possible. So with that, I think that's everything I have to say. Enjoy! What? Oh! Hello. I'm Alice. Wow! Well, that's strange. Normally I wake up from dreams right about now. Well, this isn't so bad, I guess. I know this one. Walking to the right, moving on up, walking to the left, move it on back, kick, kick, step to the right and kick, step to the left and slide, turn, 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 woo! What are you making a big deal about? It's only a chair, it's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, walking to the right, move it on up, walking to the left, move it on back, kick, kick, step to the right and kick, step to the right and slide, turn, 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 woo! 1, 2, 3, 4, walking to the right, moving on up, walking to the left, move it on back, kick, kick, step to the right and kick, step to the right and slide, turn, turn, turn. Woo! Such a good dance! What are you being so weird about? Sheesh, you birds, you get finicky about everything. Hey! Oh, hello. I don't like this guy. Wait! Why are you only taking the brown bird? We all did something wrong. It's true that we knocked over the chairs when maybe we weren't supposed to. Seems like a weird rule, but I'll take it. But I'm saying if you're gonna punish wrongdoers, you should probably do it equally. We're all responsible. Hey. Why didn't you say anything? Or worse, why didn't you help? Ah! If you're not going to help him, I'm certainly going to try. Ah! It is impolite to inch up on people, sir.
Mr. Worm apologized profusely, remarking that it had merely been a while since anyone had knocked upon his door.
your door. Oh, you live in this stump? I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. I was just playing with these birds, and this guard came and took only the brown bird when we were the ones that did something wrong. This place is so weird with how it treats its citizens unequally.
Mr. Worm quickly dismissed her apology, as he was delighted for the company, but he explained that the guards often targeted brown birds.
But that's not fair. That doesn't make sense.
The worm replied slowly, explaining to Alice that it was not a system built on fairness, but rather evolved from a more sinister state. For the guards currently in power were direct descendants of the guards who previously hunted brown birds, merely because of the distaste of the Red Queen.
Well, like you said, they evolved. Shouldn't they be fine by now? Shouldn't things have gotten better?
The worm sighed, stating frankly that building any house on a broken foundation will inevitably lead to failure. The worm continued, explaining that the guards would specifically target areas where brown birds would play, while turning a blind eye to a lot of the mischief of the brown birds, expanding further with the information that the guards themselves refused to acknowledge that the Red Queen shows the bluebird's favor. The worm sighed and shook his head. Then he politely asked Alice if she had elsewhere to be, as she was fidgeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. You talking's not helping my anxiousness. I have to catch up with the guards if I'm gonna find that brown bird. You seem to know a lot about this, though. I have to ask, why haven't you done anything if you know all this information?
And the worm didn't have a good reason.
Well, in that case, I could probably use your help. Care to come along?
The worm adjusted carefully to the new perch, thanking the girl before remarking that he'd never been up so high before.
Well, that's probably not the last thing we should change today. We have to get going if we're going to catch up with those guards, Worm! Wait, did I just see what I think I saw? Ah! I am a worm and I'm not afraid to use them! Oh, I thought you were well, I didn't know what you were actually. I've never met an eye before. I just assumed you were dangerous. What? This old thing? He can't hurt you, silly. He's just a worm. He doesn't actually have teeth. Huh. So you're a blue eye, huh? I have blue eyes too. Well, that cheers you right up. Yep, only blue eyes here. You can always trust a new friend with blue eyes. Ow! Jeez! I thought we were friends, Worm. What are you doing biting at me like that? Ugh. So, now that we're blue eye friends... Ow! Jeez! Those fangs are sharper than they look. Ugh. Would you like to come on a quest with us? We're going to save some birds that were taken because of discrimination. Ah! Would you stop that? We need to have a talking to. So why are you biting me at this? I didn't even know worms had teeth.
The worm reminded Alice that the color of one's eyes, feathers, or skin has absolutely nothing to do with whether that person is or isn't trustworthy. And to say otherwise is an example of discrimination.
Well, I guess that makes sense, but Blue Eye and I are the only ones here, and we both have blue eyes. Could it really be hurting anyone? What? This is because I used you as a weapon, isn't it? Look, I didn't even know you had teeth at the time. If Brown Eye came in here, Blue Eye and I would totally be welcoming, wouldn't we, Blue? See? And frankly, I am hurt that you could just a sec, I'm having a talk with Worm here, that you would insinuate that personal space, Blue, that because I am going after that guard. Would you stop touching me? I'm trying to talk to Worm here. What could you possibly need to show me this badly? Oh, hello. We're looking for some brown birds. Are they friends of yours? Ow! I thought we talked about this. So, where are you from? No, where are you really from? Ah! Backstabber with fangs! Gosh. So, what do you like to do? I bet you're really good at basketball. Ow! Because he's so tall, no other reason. Could I touch your eyelashes? Ow! The handworm, I use that. Blue Eye, what are you being so weird about? He's really quite good looking for a brown eye. Ah! Being mauled by a worm! Why are you running away? I'm the one getting mauled by a worm here!
Enough! It had become painfully obvious to the worm that Alice was simply not going to understand the harm of her words unless he explained himself very clearly. Everything Alice had asked the brown eye were examples of a form of discrimination called microaggressions. Microaggressions can include questioning where someone is from, assuming all people of color know each other, and assuming someone's likes or dislikes based on race.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I thought I was just being kind. Can words really hurt so badly?
The worm then invited Alice to think of what it had been like to be bitten. It wasn't so bad the first time, but as the bites piled on top of each other, they became really painful. Discriminatory language can work in the same way. One or two bad questions might be tolerable, but imagine receiving those questions over the course of a whole day or even your whole life. It would be exhausting.
Yeah, no, when you explain it like that, it does make sense. I'm gonna try not to use microaggressions anymore. But would you please stop biting me?
The worm maintained that he could make no such promise.
You'd be a lot prettier if you smiled. Hey! Who do you think you're walking away from? I was just trying to be nice. No reason to be rude, stupid cat.
Your natural hair is just too distracting for the professional work environment.
If you aren't reaching your goals, it's no one else's fault but your own. Just as I said, far too reliant on handouts.
I just want to say that I am so inspired by you. You know, for being a single mother. Oh, you're married. I just assumed you being a cat and all.
You sure are pretty. For a brown cat.
Us women need to stick together. Are you going to the Women's March? Oh, no, sorry. I can't make it to the Cat Lives Matter protest. I have a thing that weekend.
You're never gonna get anywhere if you don't stand up for yourself. Who do you think you are? You really need to take control of your health.
College. It's important you succeed.
You have to prioritize spending time cooking.
But not too much. You still need to find a husband.
No excuse. If fresh produce isn't sold in your neighborhood, you'll have to travel for it.
But don't marry too young either. You want to be established.
And exercise. You cats aren't exercising enough.
But you need to let your husband support you.
It does not matter if it ruins your hair.
You need to keep up appearances.
You waste so much money on hair.
No one will take you seriously if you can't look the part.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
We all have it hard.
There's no reason to be so angry.
Just smile.
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 You intimidate us when you don't.
Smile.
Ahem. That's better. Birds travel across America for several reasons. Home is one. Folks needed work and social climb, so to the north many did come. It's not the north was all that great. Detroit just had so many jobs. Car building jobs. The promise of paid factory work brought many black Americans. Wow, am I glad to see you. Do you know which way I should go? Yeah, well, thanks anyway. Ah! The Great Depression hit real hard, raised bias unequivocal. Unemployment got so bad, lack of housing, it was typical. Uncle Sam, he had a plan to get his people off the streets. Public housing. He made the races live apart, desegregation still a dream. Oh, thank God, are you in charge around here? These birds need some help to get flying again. Nice, housing's good. Cool. You forgot one. Right here. You forgot one. There. Well, that seemed like a weird choice. It's at this point that our man Sam thought suburbs how original. He jacked the prices down real low so white folks could afford it all. An option not available to people of a darker hue. We flew the coop and took the cash. White wealth is founded in this past. Whew, we're about halfway through now. I'm tired even just explaining this stuff, and I'm not the one whose family has lived it. Redlining is the term banks used in order to discriminate. Black neighborhoods, both near and far, were charged much higher interest rates. This practice is not legal now. Its job, it's done, it's made a curb, isolating groups of folks over police, but underserved. You can do it! Don't give up! No! You can reach it too! I know you can! I know my yelling's not helping anything, but I believe in you. Come on! Wow. Some common reasons for a move: more funding for their children's school, cleaner air, or safer streets. Perhaps they'd like a swimming pool. What a strange, strange world. What you're seeing here is called white flight. Stealing his height won't make you fly higher, it just makes you mean. Segregation still exists despite new laws when civil rights. When will it be that we'll all see another world is possible?
Children across the U.S. are required to attend school by law. This is because it is a human right for all children to have access to education in order to strive for their highest potential. Unfortunately, not all schools are given equal resources. Many Black communities especially suffer from a disproportionate lack of funding, despite teachers and staff doing their very best for their kids.
Mind the gap, dearie. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May.
Would you please stop? I was enjoying the music here.
Silence, seedling. Respect your elders.
I will not.
You don't resemble any garden flower I've ever seen. I doubt you'd understand the text I'm reading from anyhow.
It's easy to look down on other people when you're talking from a bed that someone else planted for you long ago. What about the wildflowers here? Their petals are crumpled from being stepped on so often. Shouldn't they get the same opportunity?
I don't know. Why look at clematis here?
Clematis did not grow without support.
It's true that I had support, but that isn't what made me grow tall. I worked hard for my place in this garden. I deserve it.
No one's denying that you worked hard. All I'm saying is that this garden does not reward hard work equally. It's not fair.
Fair? Fair? What do you know about fair, little miss walking around on 2 feet?
Well, it isn't fair. You guys were planted in a bed by someone long before you were born. You were given the perfect access to soil and the sun, and you were watered when you needed it. When there were weeds, someone pulled them for you. You've never had to deal with pesticides. I'm just saying that the wildflowers should have the same opportunity.
I don't know. They are wildflowers, after all.
Oh, they're flowers just like you, Rose.
Don't associate us. We are members of the prized royal garden. Those are nothing more than weeds.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That would be hilarious if it wasn't tragic. You actually believe you earned this.
How else would we be here?
Nothing more than the arbitrary preference of the Red Queen.
I hope she doesn't paint the flowers red. That would be ghastly.
You have more in common with the wildflowers than with any ghastly old tyrant.
What do you expect us to do? As you have delighted in pointing out, we are just flowers.
Fill this tremendous gap, for starters.
Never! How would the visitors know that it's us they're coming to see?
I am so sorry that you have to be these flowers' neighbors. You've grown tall and resilient, but you shouldn't have had to. I'll be back.
Like you're any better, little Miss Alice.
How do you know my name?
Oh, I know far more about you than you would ever even allow yourself to guess.
Such as?
You aren't who you suppose yourself to be.
All right.
Where are you off to now?
I have to go talk to the Red Queen. We need gardeners that will care for both plants. Jeez. Oh, Rose, I'm so glad you came around. Too much walking, not enough eating. Worm, where are you, Worm? Could you bring me my worm? He's very slow and it's annoying. Thank you. You need to keep up with me. We're on this quest together.
The worm pointed out that they'd only been walking for half an hour, and it was very hard for him, too.
Yeah, well, you've been carried most of the way, so I don't know what you're complaining about. Food. Is this just for anybody? Ah, fish! All right, enough chaos. A girl's gotta eat, even if you are some freaky eyeball fish. Whew. You there! Do you know what I should do with this trash? Oh, thank you. That's so thoughtful. Not into the river! Things live in that. You did not just. No. Okay, well, I'm just going to hang on to my trash for now long, so see ya. Excuse me, fish. I like to listen to music while I eat. Wait, why is this only hurting the brown fish? That's not fair. Oh, no, you are not. No! happy with yourself. Oh, so you care about the blue fish. I see how it is. You're not subtle. You're not sneaky. You knew what you were doing the minute you didn't ask the brown fish how their trash should be disposed of. I'm just going to fill up on water and get going from here. You know, on second thought, I think I've quite lost my appetite. No, I see what you're saying. I just think you're wrong. He's an artist, a creator. Everybody loves him. I trust the Hatter. No, I see what you're saying. We shouldn't just trust people blindly anymore. All right, but I'm going to do my own investigation. That hat is absolutely gorgeous. See, I told you he made the hats. Can I have a hat like that? Yeah? No, actually, I'm gonna stay here and watch you make it. No. I don't have anywhere to be. I can just stay here all day and watch you make this hat for me with your own hands and your own skills. Hatter? How do you sew hats without ever putting your needle in the fabric? Who sews your hats, Hatter? It's not you. Achoo! You're an accomplice, you know. It was Dormouse the whole time. It's okay if you can't do it all on your own, Hatter, but you shouldn't pretend like she wasn't the one doing the work. Jeez Louise. Well, could I purchase a hat? I hope half of that's going to Dormouse here. That's my hard-earned Alice money. No, I don't actually need any peanuts right now. I had breakfast before the show. You can't pay your employees peanuts? Worm, help me out here. This man is trying to pay his employees in peanuts. I know she's a mouse, but still, that cannot be right.
Mr. Worm explained that Hatter's company only makes money if he doesn't pay Dormouse enough. Otherwise, he'd have to charge more for his hats.
But that's not fair.
Mr. Worm explained that prisons exploit detainees for cheap or free labor all the time. And that's not even the worst part.
What's the worst part?
The labor exploitation doesn't end after prison either. For a lot of people, a prison record will keep them under or unemployed for the rest of their lives.
We've got to find those birds. Hatter, I don't have time for this nonsense. Pay your employee or we're going elsewhere. I'm serious, Hatter. Thank you. And I'm taking my hat. Thank you very much. Sophisticated, right?
The worm said sarcastically that she looked the very model of a modern major general.
Why does that feel familiar? Hey, what's going on over there?
Well, I think she's starting her own hat business where she can ensure that she and her employees are paid fairly.
Well, we should go there when we come back to get your hat, Worm.
The worm replied indignantly that he did not need a hat.
Well, I hate to be the one to tell you this, Worm, but you look rather silly without one.
Mr. Worm wondered how he looked like the silly one in this situation.
There was one city that was really quite pretty along the Shiawassee. Its name was Owosso, a good town, although it's time we talked about its white history. Ooh, that's uncomfortable. Let's try this page. They waited till sunset. The city's founders helped it. We housed some black Americans, but then instead we lost them, shunned them, threatened them, forgot them, drove them from our city. For no reason, we'd accost them. Well, that's getting a little intense. How about we try a different page? Owosso was a sundown town, a harmful town, a racist town. The rules within a sundown town, no black folks after dark. It's hard to hear difficult truths about the place you live. Owosso used to be a place that told black families, even children, they had to leave before dark. Obviously, Owosso has come a long way since then, but we still have a way to go because we still suffer the side effects of our unresolved history. And that's why we have to keep learning even when it's hard. Oh, the sun's about to go down. Let's keep going so we can get this last page. Hey, lovely people, it's not hard to feel little in a world so strange and so cruel. But just being sad, it can't change a darn thing. We need to take action here too. Oh, well, there goes the sun. This is a legacy we can't ignore. We'll have to write the ending ourselves. Oh, well, that's nice. I bet he's trying to help the unfairly arrested too. Something's happening. Hey, you need to help me over here. I don't know what to do. Ah! Okay, well, there's a hospital right over there. We just had to get to the hospital. I don't know how to help you. I'm sorry. Ah. What? Excuse me. This is more than a paper cut here. She needs help. Why aren't you listening to her pain? Let her in. Jeez, why would that possibly take that long? Worm, help me out here. Why did it take so long for them to believe her pain?
Mr. Worm explained to her that although it could have some connection with her health insurance, it was also likely that it was because she had brown feathers instead of blue ones, either consciously or unconsciously. Many doctors do not believe the pain of brown mothers. So much so that mothers of color are 243% more likely to die from pregnancy than white mothers.
What about their babies?
Them too. Mr. Worm quoted his research that black babies are 3 to 4 times more likely to die during childbirth than white babies.
I don't get it. Just because they're brown?
Mr. Worm clarified that instead it was just because the kingdom allowed brown citizens to be treated this way.
Well, if the kingdom made this problem, we should probably be working to solve it? Is that what I think it means? Oh, the baby, it's okay. It's tiny, but it's okay. Where is Mrs. Bird? I said, where is Mrs. Bird? Oh, thank God. Wait, you're not gonna follow up with her after all the preventable harm you caused? All right, I see how it is. And you are supposed to be pro-life. Shouldn't you care about the discrimination that makes brown babies more likely to die in hospitals? And more than that, if you care about life, you should care about everyone's life, even adult lives and mothers' lives. All brown creatures, all brown birds need to have access to the health care they deserve. Brown bird, we need to get to this queen. Whew! Jeez! Who knew that racing through the forest at full sprint in the middle of the day in the summer would be some workout, Worm?
Mr. Worm attempted to straighten his now permanently windswept antennas before eyeing Alice with a hint of admonishment.
What? How was I supposed to know the guard was so fast?
As the pair waited for tea, Alice couldn't help but have questions after pondering the events of the day.
Mr. Worm, how did everything down here become this way?
The worm asked, puzzled, what she was referring to specifically.
Well, with the birds and how everyone is treated so differently around here. You said people have difficulty acknowledging that there is a problem, but it seems kind of obvious.
Mr. Worm explained to Alice that while the Red Queen certainly disliked the brown birds and was blatant in her own contempt for them, often she quietly passed ordinances that would affect the brown birds at a significantly steeper disadvantage than the bluebirds.
Well, why? What do you mean? Shouldn't that be against the rules?
The worm sighed and agreed. It should be. Then the worm went on to explain that the ordinances that demonized brown birds and destroyed their nests and trees often helped bluebirds to flourish, and therefore they went by unnoticed or undeterred within the walls of the Capitol.
Well, what the heck? Why doesn't anyone see what's going on? Well, it's true.
The worm sighed, reiterating that the guards were originally built on prejudice and that the whole system itself was dysfunctional from the get-go. The ordinances have merely built upon that broken foundation, causing more cracks and more problems.
So then, how have the brown birds survived? How have they kept hope?
The worm paused for a moment before honestly admitting that he didn't know and he couldn't assume, since he wasn't a brown bird himself.
Well, then, what has been happening to them? Where they live, their nests?
The worm was hesitant, his answer short, nothing good. Expanding on that, the worm began to explain that the ordinances had done severe damage to the flocks of brown birds and their families, leaving many of them disenfranchised, without nests or being unfairly treated by the guards, and kingdom as a whole.
So what can we do? What would help these birds? How can we help the problem nobody acknowledges?
The worm thought for a long moment, choosing his words carefully before responding to the young lady, slowly stating that the best way to help the brown birds is to get others to acknowledge that there's a problem, that due to the cacophony of voices in the kingdom, the brown birds have never really had a chance to adequately help themselves.
So let's give them that chance. Let's get out of the way.
The worm grinned, agreeing with the lady's premise, but nonetheless asking how.
Well, there's a thing I really haven't figured out yet. I don't know the best way to help would be.
The worm yawned, explaining that was likely a problem for tomorrow morning.
Well, you get some sleep. I'm gonna stay up and think some more.
The worm nodded and curled into a ball, falling fast asleep.
Mr. Worm! Mr. Worm! I've had a terrible thought! Mr. Worm! Hello, I'm talking to you. Mr. Worm, why aren't you waking up? Hey! Eyeballs, do you know how to do CPR on a worm? I know they have 7 hearts, but it can't be that hard, right? Okay, well then where should I go? Where can I take this worm? I thought there was like a hospital or something. Oh my gosh, you are so unhelpful, disembodied eyeballs. Mr. Worm would know what to do. It should have been me that was taken instead.
At first, upon seeing Alice, he assumed she was still sleeping. But upon consulting the eyes, he grew increasingly disappointed. Alice, he said.
Mr. Worm! I thought you were dead!
And so your reaction was to lie on the ground?
Well, I didn't know what to do. I was sad. I was in dismay. I felt helpless.
So again, you lied on the ground.
Yes, I laid on the ground.
And did your guilt help you at all?
No.
And remind me, did it help me at all?
No. All right, well, let's get going. We gotta find the Red Queen. Worm, why aren't you coming?
Mr. Worm did not follow Alice. This task she needed to finish on her own.
Oh, man.
And don't lie down this time. Today was the day Alice had sought out to reach since her start in this bizarre and confusing new land. She had finally reached the castle gates, on the other side of which were the arrested birds she had long committed herself to saving.
I'm finally here! I've made it! Open up the gates and let me in to save the birds! Hello? I said open up the gates. Hello? Open up the gates! I can almost climb over if I was just like a lot taller. Well, I tried, right? right? Like, no one can say I didn't try. I got to these gates and it's hard and I don't know what to do.
Down this time.
He's right. Oh. Well, that is certainly odd. We match. My friend! I'm here to save you! What are you being so weird? What's wrong with you? I've come to rescue you. I've been on a quest this whole time. What? Oh, this apron? Oh, it's a family hand-me-down. I've had it my whole life. I forget it's even on anymore. I wear it all the time. I need you to tell me where the queen is. I gotta find her. I gotta tell her all these things she's been doing wrong in the kingdom. That scroll? This scroll is where it is? Guards, unroll the scroll! What is this?
Hakeem Littleton, Terrence Kellum, Casso Jackson, DeVere Ernell Ransom, Marcus Merity.
I don't understand. How can all this be happening right where we live?
Kevin Matthews, Taraza Tyree Griffin, Rakeem Bentley, Janet Wilson, Lamont Gully.
Excuse me, do you know where I can find the queen? Oh, thanks anyway.
Sadiq Bishara Abakar Idris, Darius Wimberly, Renard Burton, Frederick Ricardo Brown, James Edward Ray, Malik Carey, Todd A. Stone, Christopher Hall.
Do you know where I can find the queen? Show me the person responsible. What? No, it can't be me. That's not true.
David Tenayuke, Dietrich Driver, Theodius Gray, Matez Webb, Akeen Brown, Kevin Pudlick, and Louis Patrick Veal.
It can't be me. Cheshire has to be wrong. Unless, I have been running around this kingdom all day. This kingdom that we've already established is pretty unjust. And I've never had a problem with the guards, while other people have. That, and there's the fact that I never even had to know about this world to begin with. Oh my goodness. I think it might be me. I think I might be part of this royal lineage that is the problem. And if I'm part of the problem, how could I possibly be part of the solution? I should just lay down right now.
Who are you helping? Lying down like this?
Guards to the courtyard! Guards to the courtyard immediately!
You're right. I don't have time to feel guilty right now. Could I? Thank you. Ugh. This is not the end. Thanks, guys, for coming. This is our cast that was completely volunteer and has dealt with me for 2 weeks straight. So they're pretty amazing.
They are amazing.
They are amazing.
If you'd like to show your appreciation for the crew, we have some gifts over here, and you can send your donations to campaignzero.org. Join campaignzero.org. We have small gifts. You can do it online. We're also selling Erin's puppets, but we also have smaller ones as well. So you can just do that as you leave. Just like stay distant, of course, like y'all are doing. You're an awesome audience!
Thanks again, guys.